Yo, what up? It's CodeBro, and today I want to do a WebGL tutorial with THREE.js. I'm working on creating a game, a first-person shooter game, and it's based on CodeBro Decker from the TV series Decker, and his famous weapon of choice is the handgun. And so far our armory in CodeBro does not have a handgun, does not feature a handgun. Uh, I've actually made a fair bit of this already, but now it's got a Gatling gun, so it's not exactly what we're looking for. So today, hopefully, won't take too long, but I would like to show you how you can make a handgun in WebGL. So we're going to make it within our armory on the CodeBro website. Hold up, there's already some issues going on here. Can't get host node. Whenever it can't get host node, normally that means that there is some issue and it cannot render, which, as you see here, S is not defined in lab render. I think this is just something very small. Probably I typed something in which yes, here it is, look at that. Something very small, I accidentally put an S there, strange. Anyway, let's reload that and have a look at our armory. It's always good when you're wanting to make a three-dimensional object. Here we go. So this is a Gatling gun which I made a long time ago, and as I was saying, it's always good to find some kind of, I wouldn't call it inspiration, but at least some guide as to what you want to make online. Now, obviously we're not going to have much detail. In fact, I want very, very little detail. So it should be a very quick job to make this handgun. I think won't even bother with the trigger. I mean, it's a first-person shooter, so you'll only see the top of it. I don't even think I'll worry about making the handle on a I was going to say a rotation, no, on an angle. Yeah, I think it'll just be simply one box here and another box coming down. So yeah, we've got this Gatling gun, and we've also got an Uzi. So I think I'm going to simply just pull the handle back from the Uzi and probably lengthen the barrel a bit more and flatten it a bit more, and that'll be our handgun, and maybe make the handle a bit shorter. So in this process I can show you how I've made the Uzi, because it's not just like, you know, one big page of code. I've broken it up into parts, so maybe it's a bit more human readable. So yeah, and I can show you how I've implemented that. So let's have a look at the code. Armory menu. Okay, so let's add in our handgun here. Now this is a thing that I use just for maybe routing purposes, or just to keep the pages organized. I create a constructor here called project, which represents just one of these things, either the Gatling gun, the Uzi, also any other project that I've created here, and it simply takes a name. And what's this? Hang on, this is not, I would have thought that's a component. Okay, that's just a class. Yeah, this can be a component, but in this case it's a class. Lab project. So actually it's not exactly a JSX element, but no big deal. For all intents and purposes it functions like an element, because it renders in React. It's got the render method. Okay. Yeah, just remember I'm using TypeScript, so I've got all of the types defined here as well. And by the way, if you cannot see the code, it's all available online at my GitHub, so you can check it out there as well if you're having trouble reading because I know the text is quite small. Okay, so let's make a new one. We can call it Handgun. And let's just copy and paste the Uzi component. Okay, where have we got the weapons? Uzi. Call that Handgun as well. And you can see here, actually it should probably just be one word. You can see here that I've got gun parts and the class. Okay. Okay, so hold up. Let's just see what we got here. We got Handgun, and we'll close this Uzi stuff for now. Don't need that. And we have the class initiated for Handgun. And it's importing THREE.js, of course, which I only use because I want to use a 3 group, and that's fine. And it's also importing create gun from gun parts. Okay, so let's let's first change this to Handgun so we can put that into our I don't know what you call this. I don't know, menu of our armory menu. Put it, I guess you could, it represents our armory, yeah. Okay, so we've got the Handgun in there. And here we have the initial Y and Z just as the initial positioning of the Handgun. So I guess we can leave that in there because it's working pretty well for the Uzi. I wonder if this is all updated now. Yes, so now our Handgun obviously looks like an Uzi because we have directly copied and pasted it. So let's have a look at the gun parts. And this is where we need to make our alterations to make it actually look like a handgun. So as you can see, I've got a number of functions here. Create single barrel, create body, which I think is, the top part of it. Oh, but then the barrel would be the top. Okay, so the barrel is cylinder geometry. So obviously the barrel is this sort of nozzle thing on the end of it. Okay, and the body is the top part, as I mentioned, and the handle is the handle. It's straightforward. And create gun sort of brings all of this together. And I use a 3 group for doing this. It just makes it super easy because once you've put everything into a group, which I also do here, for some reason, so I'm adding, 3 group has a method called add. So you can add what returns our gun here with all of its geometries and meshes. And then you I set the scale. That's actually pretty lazy. I'm not sure how if that's good practice or not, but it works. Because otherwise, if I just comment that out, I guess we're going to see here it's going to be huge. Now I've got React Hot Loader in here. It doesn't always reinitialize THREE.js things correctly. It's taking a long time to rebuild that. Yeah, so as you can see, that hasn't changed. So I need to actually, what? Not found. That's strange. I need to actually reload everything to get what we want here. Yeah, a giant handgun. Actually, you know what? I think I should maybe make it a little bit bigger so we can see what we're working with a little easier. Okay, so we've got that scaled to half. And then you can set the position on the group, and that obviously moves all of the gun parts, which is what we want. Okay, so first thing, what we want to do, strange that it's saying not found. I know the reason it's saying not found is because I've recently added this route. I need to rebuild everything if I want that route to work. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, in fact, I'm going to lift that up a little bit. That should be, it'd be easier if that was, the initial Y was a bit higher. Make that, let's say, 22. Okay. Now, first thing I think we should do is, because you got to think about this a little carefully. I want to just, actually, I want to bring the barrel back. So it doesn't look like an Uzi anymore, it looks like a handgun. So let's see here. Create handle. Sorry, I want to bring the handle, yeah, I think handle back. Now, you've got to think about what these things represent. It's basically X, no, sorry, it's not X, Y, Z. Well, actually, you know what? I'll go to THREE.js docs, so you can have a look. This is always a good thing to check out. So it's always a good starting point. Some people say that THREE.js doesn't have very good docs, but I disagree. It's reasonable, it's good enough, and Stack Overflow usually fills in the holes. There are a few edge cases where people just don't really care about specific things, and it's hard to get information, but it's okay. Okay, so this is our cylinder, which we won't really be working much with. In fact, I might even get rid of the cylinder. But as you can see, it takes in these 4 parameters. This is radius, and length. Yeah. And then, and the last one, I think it's the last one, is kind of like these segments. So if you have it like, you know, really low, if you put it like to 2, no, let's make it 4, it'll look like a kind of a box, I think. Let's see. It's annoying that Hotloader doesn't rebundle this correctly. That would be nice, but we have to. Yeah, okay. We have to reload every time. It's a shame. And I can't use the route either. Okay, but there, as you can see, that's a square. I think maybe for making future videos like this, I will try and make it so I get some rebundling action happening for THREE.js. That would be cool. Anyway, so we'll put that back to how it was at 10 because that made it look circular. But what we're really concerned about is box geometry. And yeah, it's simple. It's simple. It's just yeah, the width. Here you have it. Width, height, and depth. It's kind of tricky to work out which is which when you're working with this. I'm gonna make a few more changes just so it's a bit easier to work with. I'll change it to 18, in fact, and I'll also stop it from spinning around maybe. It'd be good if we just had a cross section of it. That's the light, that's fine. But the weapon rotation, we don't really want it to be rotating too much. So we'll comment that out. That's all good. By the way, so I've got some movement mechanics here. So yeah, we can just walk around it sort of thing. You know what, I'll also just restart it so we have that route in there. I'll run dev again. Okay, so let's have a quick look at gun parts. So obviously this is the body. And just looking at this is the long part of it, which obviously we want to keep. I said I wanted to, excuse me, I said I wanted to flatten the body a little bit. So maybe I'll change the 12, which is obviously the kind of height of the body. I'll change it to 8. Okay, and handle, I want to shorten the handle. And obviously the long part is the 40. So let's make it half of the body. Does that seem about right? We'll look at the handguns again. It looks more like they're about the same size, but somehow I just think, well, that handle is about, I guess, half of this. Maybe not half, but maybe like, maybe like 5/8. So make that 25. I think that seems about accurate. And the width, I guess, should be the same. That makes sense, yeah. Sorry, well, in this case it would be the depth, right? Would be the same. The width, it looks like that is smaller than the handle, so actually I will reflect that here. Well, I already have it reflected here. You can see that's 12 and that's 8. So what I predict will happen now is that we'll have all the right proportions, but it won't be sitting in the right spot. So we'll need to change the positioning, not the rotation probably, but definitely the positioning here for the barrel and here for the handle. All right, so let's see where we're at with the, okay, it's rebuilt and everything. So we should have this should be, yes, and it's working. And as you can see, oh, hang on, I'll just get my, yeah, oh, cool. How good is that? I can actually spin it around myself. As you can see, yeah, we've shortened the handle a bit. I still think it should be shorter, but I'll leave it for now. We've flattened the body. I think we're super close to getting a handgun. We just simply need to move that back and up. But I'm just thinking about what we should do with this front part, because as you can see, no handguns here have such a large nozzle, unless you're looking at a revolver, in which case the whole body is different. I don't really want to do a revolver. This one's got a little bit of one. I wonder if like it'll look cooler if I kept it, but like say shortened it, moved it back and up, because it's kind of a cool detail to have. And since we already have it from the Uzi, why not keep it? So let's try that. In fact, let's shorten it. So make that like 4. I want to make that 1.5 because I think it should be smaller. And then we'll need to reposition that. Create single barrel. The barrel is changed there. Okay, so the body in fact is not repositioned at all. So I'm thinking I need to reduce this by say 6 of what we did there. So let's go 14 there. Let's see what that does. I just wanted to see. Oops, I've lost my route. Okay, here we go. Handgun. What? Hang on. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, but I need to refresh. Okay. Oh, okay, okay, it's disappeared. Probably because it was already partially inside the gun and now it's fully inside the gun, so make that 18. Anyway, that's not the important part. Let's focus more on the other parts. So we need to move the handle back by half of the length of the barrel. So here we have the positioning of the handle. It's -20. The length of the, not the barrel, the body, sorry, is 40. So that's got to go to, I'm going to say 0. It could be -40 I'm really looking for, but I'm going to say 0. And while we're at it, why don't we just move the barrel up? So remember we reduced that from 40 to 25. So I mean, it might need to be moved up by 15. Not sure. Let's do it anyway. Move it up by 15. I'm pretty bad at guessing whether it should be -15 or not, but let's see what we got. Who knows, it could be perfect. It's a little bit of trial and error here. Okay, we're kind of halfway there, but obviously this is completely wrong. Okay, so I think we've changed the wrong things here. Let's change what we did with the handle back to how it was. Single barrel. Okay, okay, but we were quite right with the barrel position. I'll put that back to 20 because I think that's what it should be. Negative 20. So I think what happened was that just like flipped it in the wrong direction. So I think what this needs to be is something like negative 16. And then I need to change the X position by 20. I think that's the point. So one more time. Yeah, this part isn't that fun, but it's quite rewarding once you're finally finished and you've got your finished project. Okay, so a little bit, yeah, that's not quite right, but at least you know the Y position is correct. So I just screwed up the X and the Z, which is pretty easy to do. So that should look better. The Y position is good. I'm wondering if it should be a little higher. This is looking quite good, except I want it to be a slightly higher there too. So I'm going to, in fact, I'm going to make this 19 because I don't want it sticking out too much. And I'm going to make that 1, so it goes up a little bit. Okay, let's see here. Now I think we're really close here. I think it's going to be going to look good now. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is easy. I just need to shift that back. I don't even need to push that up, which is pretty cool. So make that negative 20. My prediction is that that's going to be like, that's going to overlap the end, which is an easy fix, but that's what I predict. Okay, yes. So as you can see, it's overlapping the end. But hey, that's looking good, isn't it? That's pretty close to a gun. Now I'm wondering whether I should make this longer, because that would look like a handgun. If I shifted that in, I feel like the barrel would be too short. So let's try that. And I think I need to move the body or the barrel backwards a little bit too to compensate for it being longer. But for now, I will simply make it longer. So make that like 45, or actually how wide? That's half. So therefore, the handle is like 12. So 46, let's say. That should be perfect. But I think I need to reposition it just to compensate for the offset there. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, well. Okay, it seems like it's actually, that's interesting. It's gone wider on both sides. So it's overlapped here, and it's obviously underlapped here, but it has overlapped a little bit, which is quite curious, I think. But anyway, we can fix that by positioning. So we don't usually position it's probably better we don't position the body and instead position this by +3. So that'll be 22. And this one, let me just think for a second. Yeah, this one here by negative. You know what? I'm going to position it slightly further. Actually, I think that should be negative. Sorry, let's see what this does. If it's way too far out, then we know. Yeah, okay, no trouble. So we've got one last step to get this done. You see, it's pretty fun once you finally get it. I'm sure there's a more efficient way of making 3D models, but this is one way to make simple ones. And it didn't take that long. There we go. There's our handgun. Looks kind of stupid with the overflow there. Maybe we should remove that because, I don't know. But that's not that important. Actually, that looks quite good. That looks alright. So yeah, we've made a handgun for Decker in all its glory, and it didn't take that long. You know, about 10 minutes of work. So yeah, hopefully you've learned something there. What else? So that just returns the 3 group with the gun parts attached, and that returns it into this class. And then you can import this class into the armory. Where do we import the classes? It's yeah, so I've got this hooked up to routes. It's a little complicated, but where is it now? Init weapon, yeah, initiate weapon. So you've got a view path, which is basically something like handgun, Uzi, Gatling gun. That's what view path is. It's simply a string, and it represents a key which you put into your armor menu dictionary, which is basically like a dictionary representation of this array here, which we create using reduce. And then you have your class there, because obviously it comes in from here. And you can just call the method assemble, and that runs all of this part here. And then you call the method render, which returns your gun, because assemble doesn't return anything. And then I give it a name so I can easily remove it from when I want to, you know, unmount the component, or I want to exit. I can remove it easily by finding it with the name. Yes, and then I add it to the scene, and I say weapon is added, because the state change is useful, because then you can control when it starts animating, because obviously if you animate it too soon, it'll be like, oh well, we can't find it, it's not going to work. All right, let's see it rotating. That's not that exciting, but it's kind of cool. So yeah, very simple handgun we've made there. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and happy coding.